Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charlton, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So yesterday was a drama-packed day in the NBA, right? It was full of drama. A lot of things were said, and I think it was all for the wrong reasons. Why? Because the entire day was basically centered on the altercation between Isaiah Stewart, who's the 20-year-old Detroit Piston, I think he's a forward, and Lebron James, who's the face of the NBA, right? I'm sure millions of you have already seen that altercation or that play by now. It was all over TV yesterday and all over the internet. Yesterday, some people kind of defended him and some people said no. Like if you listen to Shannon Sharp and maybe Chris Broussard, they said they didn't think it was a dirty play. If you listen to Skip Bayless absolutely believes it was a dirty play. If you listen to Ryan Clark or, Stephen A. Smith, so people had different takes on what they, or different interpretations of what they thought that play was on the part of LeBron James. And we were all kind of making predictions as to what we thought or what decision we thought the NBA was going to come to as far as, fines and suspensions, right? Some people felt as if, LeBron James should definitely be suspended. I heard some people say that, for example, Jalen Rose, who was at the game, in Detroit, he said that he didn't feel like LeBron James should get suspended. Skip Bayless thought that he should get suspended. I think Shannon Sharp said, both players should get suspended. So people had different opinions on what they thought should happen. And yesterday, late last night, the NBA kind of released this verdict on, the altercation between LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart. So what we want to get into right now, we want to quickly get into an article that ESPN wrote, where they basically explained the decision of the NBA, and basically, and then from there we're going to come back and kind of give you guys our thoughts as far as what we thought should have happened. So the article starts off: NBA suspends LeBron James 1 game, Isaiah Stewart 2 games for involvement in Sunday's altercation. Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James has been suspended for 1 game for recklessly hitting Detroit Pistons center Isaiah Stewart in the face during their altercation in Sunday's game, the NBA announced on Monday. Stewart has been suspended for 2 games for escalating an on-court altercation by repeatedly and aggressively pursuing James, who will serve his suspension on Tuesday when the Lakers visit the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. James and Stewart were jostling for position during a free throw. Their arms appeared to get intertwined, and James swung his elbow, striking Stewart, who quickly had blood streaming above his eye. Cooler heads seemed to prevail for a moment. Stewart was guided away from the spot where the contact occurred by teammates and coaches, though he appeared to become more incensed along the way. He then tried to double back multiple times and run towards James. A number of people again blocked his path and made sure the incident didn't get uglier. Stewart was assessed 2 technical fouls, James a flagrant foul 2, and both players were ejected. It's the first suspension in the 19-year career of LeBron James, who has won 4 NBA titles with 3 teams. The Lakers and Pistons meet again Sunday in Los Angeles. Okay, so that's the ruling that the NBA kind of laid out there. And let's talk about it. And the first question is there or was their ruling fair? That's the first question. And yesterday we put up a poll on the channel. I think a number of people have voted on, a few thousand people have voted on. And the majority of the people, we asked the question, do you think that who should be suspended more games, LeBron and Isaiah Stewart? And the majority of people, I'm talking about 60% of the people, so 6 out of every maybe 10 people said that, listen, we believe that LeBron James should be the person that gets more games as far as if we're talking about suspension. First of all, I think that the 2 of them, LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart, both deserved to be suspended, given the nature of the altercation. There have been many different altercations on the court before, and guys have been thrown out of games, and they don't get suspended. In this particular instance, given the nature of what happened, I believe both of them should have been suspended. I think LeBron James should have been suspended because he initiated the entire altercation. He hit him on the face. There's some people out there, LeBron should be. No, he should be, because he's the one that's. If LeBron doesn't hit him in the face and cut him above the eye, we're not even talking about this event right here. So LeBron should be suspended because he started the entire thing. Number 1, that's what I believe, right? I think that was correct that the NBA suspended him, because it was completely inexcusable for him to hit him above the shoulders. We all know in the NBA, anything above the shoulders towards the face region is a no-no, right? Automatic ejection, and in this case, suspension, just look at the impact of his move. So LeBron should have been suspended, and I think there's no question about that in my mind. Some people feel otherwise, like Jalen Rose and others, but I think he should absolutely, be suspended, and he deserved to get suspended. I think Isaiah Stewart should have been suspended for this reason, for not leaving the court in a timely fashion. And given the fact of how belligerent he was after the fact, I think he could have quickly escalated that thing into a flat-out melee or a brawl, right? I think that would have been the next thing. And I think that you can see how, how angry he was. He was trying to charge LeBron. And, if he got through and then other players jumped in, it would have turned into something worse. So given those two things that happened, just looking at it, giving you guys my assessment, LeBron should have been suspended for the reasons I just, aforementioned, and for what Isaiah Stewart did. However, I kind of part ways with I part ways in a different way. I think LeBron should have gotten 2 games, and I think Isaiah Stewart should have got 1 game. Here's why. I think given how gruesome that injury was, it was gruesome. It was gruesome. I think the NBA needed to make. I'm not telling the NBA what to do. I think they could have made a stronger, they would have sent a stronger message if they said, listen, any hit above the elbow, above the shoulders, no matter who the player is, it is not tolerable. It's not going to be tolerated. And if they suspend the face of the league, it sends a message to me that any player in the NBA, if you see what we can do to the face of the NBA, you better fall in line. Because if we can suspend LeBron James, you better believe we can suspend you, right? And suspend you for multiple games. I think they would have sent a stronger message that we can discipline LeBron. Anyone can be disciplined. No one is above reproach, right? This is the reason I think so. And I give you guys kind of an analogy as to why I think this is. Imagine if you're a parent. You have, let's say, 4 kids, right? But you only discipline the younger ones, right? I think the younger ones would say, man, dad is preferential. But if they see that even the eldest one can be disciplined the most, they're all going to fall in line. Because if daddy's doing that to him or to her as the eldest, what is he going to do to us? And I think that's the message that they could have sent. But obviously they decided to go in a different direction, which is totally fine because it's their league, right? It's their league. So I kind of understand it. I just feel like LeBron should have gotten more games than Isaiah Stewart, but I definitely think the 2 of them should have been suspended. Now, there's some people out there that say, oh, LeBron shouldn't have been suspended at all. Come on, cut it out. Like, what are you talking about? And you're talking about, well, Kobe did this and Jordan did that. What does Kobe and what Jordan did have to do with anything? What does it have to do with this particular circumstance right here? We're judging events on an event-to-event basis. Why are you bringing in Kobe Bryant or what Jordan did or this other player did, right? By you doing that, it just shows to me that you're just being emotional and you're just sitting there trying to cheerlead. You don't want to look at things objectively, and I think that's totally unnecessary, and it's not it's not a mature stance to take with such a serious for such a serious topic. So that's my position. The question is, though, to you guys, did the NBA get it right? Should, were they correct to suspend LeBron for just 1 game and Isaiah Stewart for 2 games? Or do you think they could have, did something else? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamers Pro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.